On this week's episode of The Video Store, we discover that stranger things are happening in Season 3. Josh drags Frank across concrete. And finally, we take the bus to Us-Town.
Who's a good movie dog? You're a good movie dog. Welcome to the Video Store podcast, where every week we review movies, TV shows, and other things that we watched and look ahead at what's streaming, on demand, and out for rental, as well as in theaters each and every week. My name is Frank.
My name is Josh. Oh, I just got in there.
I was going to set you up, but...
No, I'm tired of these T-ball pitches. I'm just going to go in there for the home run, baby.
Okay. Sports references out the gate. We usually start the podcast off with a bad joke by Josh. Check. And then thoughts and trailers.
You're so hurtful.
Yeah. Quentin Tarantino's putting out a movie, so when that happens, like every step along the way is documented online, and clickbait is produced, solely, to exploit this stuff. But there's a trailer out there. It's a teaser. But I'm really excited for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's going to be in theaters in July. The plot summary is a faded television actor and his stunt double strive to achieve fame and success in the film industry during the final years of Hollywood's golden age in 1969 Los Angeles.
Oh, I thought that sentence ended. Sorry.
Yeah, I was trying to go for dramatic effect. I'm super excited about this movie. I didn't really need to see anything, but I couldn't resist clicking on the trailer, and I'm even more excited.
Is that it? That's all you had to say?
I was waiting
about
for you, man. Nothing.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I thought it was really cool. I think it's pretty funny that we're going to all try and believe that Brad Pitt is not a star. So.
Hey, that's Quentin Tarantino's job to convince us. I love the little scene with, I guess it would be Bruce Lee or Bruce Lee stunt double.
Right.
My hands are weapons. If I accidentally kill someone, I would go to jail. And Brad Pitt's offhand comment of it, yeah, if anyone accidentally kills someone, they go to jail. It's called manslaughter.
Yeah.
The comedic timing was fucking on point. And then you just have, what's her face dancing around and playing Shannon Tate.
Yeah, I don't know what's her face. I don't remember.
Margot Robbie, who I know.
Right.
Yeah, just brain fart. But it looks cool. It has a cool look to it. And I am a big fan of the second half of Quentin Tarantino's work, especially.
I think it'll be really fun to see what he does with more of a non-violence factor, because we know that he spends a lot of time in the scripts, of course, and the development and all sides and tails. But to see what he does with something that's probably not going to be as violent as the last, few outings that he's had. So
you say that.
Yeah.
I mean, based on the trailer, possibly. But Charles Manson's a character in this, and Sharon Tate is a character in this. So.
Look, I'd like to be fooled, and maybe maybe there is some crazy violence. Maybe it's more Pulp Fiction-esque. We don't know, but I'm just saying for the ones that seem to be set in times where the violence was more acceptable, with Inglourious Bastards and The Hateful Eight, where violence was kind of the norm. It's not as much of the norm, where it's definitely has more impact if you kill somebody in Hollywood at this time versus, in the Old West.
Sure, yeah, it does take place closer to present day. That's a good point. And if you don't want to spoil it, if you're just down with this movie, don't watch the trailer. Don't look up the cast. Just go in blind. It's funny. I try to, not give away too much in the trailers. And I try to avoid most trailers except for the ones we watch for this show. Next one up.
Ma.
Man, the tone of this movie is fucking strange.
It's great. I thought it was great setup.
For sure. The plot synopsis for Meh is a lonely woman befriends a group of teenagers and decides to let them party at her house. And
wait, do you say Matt or Ma?
I would say Ma. I was just going along with your weird shit.
Okay.
So, this one stars Octavia Spencer, and I think it's really cool that she's getting a movie to show off and show,
right.
and especially a movie as strange as this. In the trailer, she pulls it off. I'm very very excited for this one.
Yeah, I think the setup is perfect, and that's what makes it really fun. It's like we're teenagers and it's party time. It's just almost a setup of some of those great campy horror movies that are classic, and it just leads into this real in-depth, scary look at somebody that is maybe stuck in a time before past or has some, type of hang-ups with things and issues she faced when she went to school. Who knows? But it looks pretty fucking horrifying. I think this is one of those things where you look at like Cloverfield Lane, where John Goodman carries this demonic, very scary role and really provides the film an edge. And I think that's kind of the same thing that's happening here.
Yep, you hit on like a note that I was just about to bring up. There's two things that I really like in horror movies that this movie seems to have. One, like an actor that is like talented in a way that you usually don't see in horror movies, like they can just carry the movie themselves, which I think she can. And then also a premise or a person that is very realistic and that you may have encountered in your life, or you could see yourself encountering. So like I've played Hey Mister, to get alcohol and stuff, and there was a couple people that would like, get the beer.
Really?
They would they'd get the beer for you, and then they'd be like, hey, so what are you guys getting into? Like,
yeah, what are you doing with your little girl friends there? What are you guys doing? Not even that,
or like, hey,
let's play 7 seconds and I'll go fuck myself.
There's this guy we used to call Hulk Hogan. He was not
hey,
as
brother,
big, but he had the handlebar mustache, and he would play football and basketball with us. And we were like 12, and he was like 30. And just
okay.
He was kind of like that character Todd in Beavis and Butthead, except he didn't hate everybody. He would just play sports with them.
Fucking Todd. Yeah, no, that's good. That's funny.
So yeah, like that character's kind of grounded in reality, like some a version of somebody you may have met in your childhood. Up next is Stranger Things Season 3 trailer. I'm not going to give you a plot summary. I'm pretty sure you know what this one's about.
Bad things happen to kids, and kids fight back.
Yeah. Again, a trailer you probably don't need to see unless you just like, giving yourself anxiety and excitement about something you're going to watch no matter what. This one's coming out July 4th. They keep throwing out a trailer or a graphic or something every month or so just to keep it on your mind.
11!
I'm super excited for this. I was actually a fan of season 2. I thought it was just as good and in some ways better than season 1.
I think this is just that kind of trilogy watch that it's their Goonies-esque, but it's in a more science fiction realm or reality that I just think is a fun watch. I don't need to compare season versus season. They're just, as long as the story is compelling enough for me to watch these characters fight through these situations, I'm good with it. Winona Ryder's great. The kids are great. Everybody's really great. So I can't find a reason to not watch it. So.
Same, yeah, and I say that to just point out, like, I don't think it was a fluke. Like, I'm not holding them up against each other, and that's kind of going to set yourself up for disappointment anyway if you just, always compare things to the previous version. But yeah, it's definitely something that if you're cynical, you can dismiss because it does really care about its characters, and there's like, heartfelt tone underneath all the monsters and sci-fi.
Yeah, super fun. Winona Ryder's been really great in this, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up loving her, so it's good to see her come back in such a cool role in a thing that just blew up. And, introduced her to a whole new generation of people. Up next is a more indie vibe. The Last Black
A24.
Man. Yeah, A24, who's like on just an unbelievable run of great independent and interesting movies. And you can see pretty much their whole catalog on Kanopy. The Last Black Man in San Francisco is coming out in theaters this June, and it's the most recent A24 movie starring Danny Glover. It's about a young man searching for a home in the changing city that seems to have left him behind, which is explained in the title. I think this looks really good. I know you are always willing to check out stuff like this, social commentary movies, situations that we can't relate to firsthand, but maybe we can understand someone else through a movie, and that's cool. I'm going to check this out. It's not like something you're excited for, like Stranger Things, but I'm going to watch this.
Yeah, it also seemed very visually compelling, and that's also an important thing to me. You have characters that drive the story, but the way the story is told visually is quite important to me, and I think they did a really good job. You can just tell that this is very cinematic, very well shot. So that's And hey, Danny Glover, he's not too old for this shit.
Yeah, dude, really good point. And that's what I loved about If Beale Street Could Talk was that, sometimes people overwrite the message and not how it was delivered and executed. Where if you really care about this message, you should be meticulous with the acting, directing, and the cinematography. And
Right.
I think you make a really good point.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh, that's so nice. I feel warm and fuzzy all of a sudden.
Let's see if you can make a really good point about Dora the Explorer,
Okay.
and the Lost City of Gold in theaters in August. This goofy shit is about Dora as a teenager explorer leads her friends on an adventure to save her parents and solve the mystery behind a lost city of gold. Very teeny bopper Tomb Raider.
Yeah, but hey, Michael Pena.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, you love Michael Pena enough that is there been a movie that you wouldn't watch that he's in yet or you haven't watched?
I mean, I'm sure there's probably a movie I haven't seen out there, but I'll watch it for sure. He's just, dude, I want him to be like my best friend. He's like one of those guys you watch and you're just like, I bet he is just the most fun person to have conversations with regularly, just because his imagination is probably just as childlike wonderment as I find myself sometimes.
So he's your number one man crush in movies.
He's up there. He's definitely somebody I want to be friends with. Michael, if you're out there and you just need some guy to be a yes man or a no man when you need him to be.
I'll feed your cat when you're shooting movies.
Right. I'll do it. I'll scoop that shit. I don't care. No, the other thing that I found interesting about this, which again, I didn't ever watch the show and thought this could be perfectly stupid, but Isabella Moner, who I just saw in Instant Family, who I think carried a really heavy emotional role in that as the eldest sibling. It's fun to see her in something that I guess is just light and comedic, and I think she's definitely an up-and-comer.
Yeah, I think this one's going to make a bunch of money because people are either going to see it because they grew up with this or because they're semi-familiar and they're a parent, or maybe ironically they're going to see it, hate watch it. Like, it just covers a lot of different bases. Well,
did you know this? Benicio del Toro voices Swiper. You remember the Swiper, no swiping? We've all heard of that.
That's perfect. Do you know who voices Boots?
Yeah, Danny Trejo.
Yeah, see, so they're trying to get everybody. They know that film snobs that would dismiss this as just a commercialization, movie as a product, trying to revive a, former intellectual property, are like, oh, fuck, you got Benicio del Toro playing Swiper. I kind of want to see that. Fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then Danny Trejo, it's over the top.
Yeah, Machete now goes for Dora.
Isn't the Map a character? Is that like keeping that hidden? I mean, who the fuck plays Map?
I have no fucking clue. I don't know.
Yeah, Matt's probably voiced by fucking Dave Bautista or something cool.
Wait a minute, is this Jeffrey Wahlberg kid, Matt Wahlberg's son or something?
Not surprised. The Wahlberg lineage is not going to die.
I mean, yeah. No, wait, this nephew of Mark Wahlberg and Donnie Wahlberg.
Okay.
That little curly-haired bastard.
So
look at him go.
There'll be a Wahlburger in there. But, yeah, I mean, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm probably going to watch this in some way.
Yeah, can't really... it doesn't even look that terrible. And I'm not... I didn't even watch... Look, it looks better than Jumanji.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at least it's something different. It's, I'm not as familiar with Jumanji as I am Dora, so...
what I would like to see? Maybe like a Doug. Remember Doug Funny?
Yeah. I think a lot of people. Let me correct that. I think a small amount of people would be very excited for that.
Right. The Beats. I need more allowance. Remember the Beats? They were so cool.
I mean, if this movie makes money, it will open the window for that and like Hey Arnold and all this stuff to get the treatment.
Hey Arnold, that would be great. I want to see what they do with that football head.
All right. We could continue to just, feel all nostalgic about our childhoods and dream about movies that will probably never get made, and probably for good reason.
Unless we make them.
Yeah. But let's not talk about movies that aren't out yet. Let's not talk about movies that
don't exist.
Yeah. Let's talk about what we watched.
Just in our minds.
Yeah. This is the part of the podcast where we review things with our very loose grasp on the English language, me especially. And we put things in, movies and shows in 3 categories. 1, don't do it. where we are warning you, and we, spent our time watching something terrible, so we could prevent more people from making the same mistake. 2 is Take It or Leave It, which, we will explain the caveats into why we feel that way. And finally, Employee Pick means we think you should watch it regardless if you don't like that genre or whatever. It's just a really good movie that you should check out.
So what's up first? We watched it. We did it. We got in there for the thing I was most excited for in 2019. Us.
Yes. Real quick plot summary. You probably know it's advertised everywhere. A family's serenity turns into chaos when a group of doppelgangers begin to terrorize them. I agree. This is probably one of my most anticipated movies of the year and marks the beginning of decent movies actually coming out, because it's been rough, dude. I've watched like a dozen 2019 releases, and most of them have been bad. Before this, it was The Standoff at Sparrow Creek was the best movie I saw this year, by far. And yeah, I'll just...
You gotta watch that Donnybrook, though. You'll like that.
I'll watch that.
It's fucked up.
I won't watch that Donnybrook.
You watch that Donnybrook, okay?
But
I don't know why I said it that way.
And I'll go in front and say Us is my favorite movie so far this year.
Holy shit.
I loved it. I think it's going to be like an all-time classic. I loved everything about it. It just had all the things that make me excited to go see something in theaters. And the crowd behaved themselves.
My crowd didn't as much behave themselves.
There's a lot of vocal reactions, which can be anything that's horror,
and that's okay. Yeah. Look, anyone's got a jolt, and sometimes people feel like bunny rabbits and they're, oh my God, what just happened? Like, I understand that stuff. It's the constant talking after the fact.
Talking to the characters.
Extremely loudly.
Yeah. So
the two people talking behind me.
Oh, shit. No. Yeah, I would say something. I can't. I get the back row anyway, and I get the corner to eliminate the amount of possible people that could ruin the movie for me.
Well, I never reserved tickets, and this was the first time I did, so I went like straight center.
Yeah.
Because it was available, and which was cool, because I felt like, most people who don't reserve tickets, I'm pretty sure someone would probably just sit here, and then I'll have to tell them. But that didn't come up for me. Although, another diatribe for myself. What the fuck? In 20 years, we haven't figured out how to fucking take off little plastic fucking wrappers? Like, why do they even exist? Because it doesn't keep the candy any more fresh. It's just like, hang on, let me get to these snow caps. They're really fresh. No, seriously, they keep this on there and don't put a tab on it so I can go fuck myself. I'm sorry.
That you should play plastic wrap in every animated movie, number one. And your boy, by the way, I open my plastic during the trailers, and I open my box during the trailers.
Other good decisions that could be made. Like, not like you bought them 5 fucking minutes ago, and you decide 40 fucking minutes into the movie, you know what? I'm gonna have these.
If I'm paying $5 for some snow caps, the theater should, like a bartender will, take the top off. Just take a pair of scissors, cut the top off, and hand it over.
Why does the plastic exist, though? Our candy doesn't need to be any more fresh. It's not a fucking banana.
To prevent theft, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, we'll look
at
that.
He's stealing.
What? One last thing about going to the movies before we get into the movies we saw. I've had a theory that so far has been at least 90% successful. I go the Thursday night. The night before, because I feel like those people are there to specifically see that movie for the most part, not just going out to see whatever. Yeah, exactly. Sense. And it's been definitely better. Better luck that way with the audience.
That extremely, and I went Thursday as well just because I saw it was available right around the corner. It wasn't, and again, the audience was pretty good. The one most ridiculous thing happened when somebody was walking through the row and I guess fell on somebody and shit out of her, and everyone's laughing at that shit. And then turns out I ran into those people afterwards because I hear them go, "You were so good in there, movie dog." They had a little fucking dog in their purse. And, like, the dog didn't make a sense. He's like, yeah, slept through the whole thing. And it was the cutest little dog. And then they explained that they were the ones that fell on. And I was like, wow. So there was a dog in there. Someone fell. There's a lot of shit happening.
I need to pull the part of you saying, "You were so good, movie dog." And that's going to be at the end of every podcast.
Okay.
You're so good,
us.
Movie dog.
Yeah.
Real quick, before you leave me one more time. Yeah, people trying to bring their dogs places, can people also stop bringing their kids to bars and breweries and places where alcohol is plentiful? Can you stop?
No, because they need to drink and then they need to watch their kids. So how else are you responsible, Frank?
Yeah, I know. All right, back to the movie. Jordan Peele's Us, the follow-up to Get Out. I have a difficult time when I love everything about a movie, but I thought every shot was thought out. Like even like let's break this down into different categories so we can kind of organize our thoughts. You want to talk about?
Apparently, you need to.
Yeah, I know, right? Do you want to talk about cinematography, direction, acting, plot first? What do you want to do?
How about I just go first and then you decide what you want to talk about?
Fair.
All right. So all in all, I was really excited to see how they used the I Got Five on It horrific version. And I think it was placated very well throughout the movie in different formats. And it was just this ominous tone that underlaid the movie. I think the characters were great. I think the whole family and themselves was hilarious. I think the father was a little extra white, which I think Jordan loves to do. Make these characters that, like to use their own
stereotypical black character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he kind of uses his own blackness to his advantage as he's like, we got the police on the way. That kind of stuff where he's trying to, use it to, his benefit. But I think the comedy, of course, was so well placed and well done. And I think the way the story developed was great. I love how it started. I loved the intro scene. I loved how it all played out. The only thing that I didn't 100% love is I feel like, again, and this is another trailer-based thing, is where you start to look for those scenes when they happen and kind of put the story together or the puzzle story together in your mind from scenes that you have seen. But beyond that, I think it was a fun watch. I can't wait to watch it again. It leaves a lot of questions out there. There are some turns and very visually compelling as well. Just everything was I was glued to the scene at the time and what was happening and how it happened and the characters between each other and noticing, how they were alike but yet so different. And so can we talk about the tethered? Can we say that?
Yeah, we just don't want to spoil anything.
Right. So, I mean, it's really like I feel like that's the outline, but the doppelgangers are called the tethered. And we're not going to go too far into that, but it's basically they are another version of themselves in an alternate type system. And how they came into the initial dialogue with the tunnels and things like that, I think was a good setup as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was a premise. Yeah, the tunnel thing in the intro, the text was interesting. They kind of didn't really touch on that. Maybe a rewatch will enlighten what he wanted to do with the tunnel thing. But yeah, man, I kind of agree with you wholeheartedly. I'll add that I think Jordan Peele is like next level. He's one of our best directors right now. You may not like every decision he did with his story, but I believe everything was intentional. Everything was very deliberate, and the emotion or reaction that he wanted to get out of it, I think it definitely executed everything perfectly. At least for me, anyway. And I love when people are like really thoughtful about different shots. Like I can get bored with a movie if the shots are very generic. The cinematography is amazing. Like even when they're entering the beach, the over the head shot was just like creepy and just made you feel a certain way about that beach setting.
Right, you knew the beach was bad news when usually the beach is great news.
Yeah, and it conveyed this, the feeling of the characters with the shots as well. Yeah, man, I really love this. Like I said, my favorite movie of the year. I thought the performances were fantastic. Lupita Nyong'o playing dual roles. Everyone playing dual roles, but I think her two roles were obviously
the most abstract and the most compelling, of course. But
it was the most work. And
you think Jordan might get another best original screenplay for this? Because I feel like he's creating things that other people aren't. That this storyline doesn't really exist, even though we've seen certain things similar-esque, but this doesn't exist. And he keeps creating things that are just so fucking out of his own imagination while still paying tributes to that of old, Yeah,
you're kind of echoing like what I put on my Letterboxd review. But yeah, I like that also he takes, up and coming actors that maybe aren't household names yet, like Lupita Nyong'o, Winston Duke, and gives them these like great roles, and they're perfect. The casting is perfect in this movie. I like that he included Elizabeth Moss, which I think was a nod to her role in a movie with a similar concept called The One I Love, that deals with doppelgangers. I don't think that was an accident. Her and Tim Heidecker as, the white couple, the white family, they were fantastic together. Like great chemistry within that family, and with the main family. But yeah, dude, I thought it was beautifully shot, like really dark in a smart way. And funny, like funny when it needed to be.
Oh, but his humor is so good and well timed. I mean, I was like, this is what a Josh would do. Honey, I'm too comfortable right now.
There's
No
comedic relief in the drama, and then there's comedic relief because the tension. He's fuck with you, and he's great at what a lot of people are afraid to do is just hang on to that tension. Think of the scene where the girl's walking down the boardwalk steps, and how it just hangs there and takes you step by step and just like sits in that uncomfortable part. It does that throughout the movie. I thought that
that whistling was one of the most terrifying things.
Yeah, and just I love that these horror movies are getting a level of acting and cinematography, writing, directing, everything on a level that you don't see in this genre, and it's one of the more interesting type of movies out there if done correctly. And I also think it's cool that he pays tributes to a lot of filmmakers that we like. I think you can see a little David Lynch in there, John Carpenter, stuff like that. But he puts his own signature on it to a way where it is original. Like you can tell his influences, but he's not even doing like the Tarantino thing where he's paying tribute with certain dialogue or characters. But he's just doing his own thing. Like he's definitely, you can tell, a fan of horror movies, especially 80s stuff and those concepts, and he's putting his own personal touch on it. Like, and it's really fucking entertaining too on just a base level. Like you don't have to pick this movie apart like I'm sure you and I are going to do. You can just enjoy it for the thrill ride, and it works on that level. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think this is easily a big old dual employee pick. I think we're both going to watch it again. Definitely want to see I'd love to see an extended version of this. It did run an okay runtime, but man, there's probably some alternate endings and some fucked up shit out there that will be down the road.
Agreed. There's very few movies each year that I want like a good DVD release, a Blu-ray release that has I want special features. I will watch the shit out of them. And where Get Out, I think, hit hardest the first time. But I mean, Get Out's really good, really rewatchable. I think this one's going to get better and better with the second, third, fourth watch as you can wrap your head around what this is.
For sure.
Yeah, so fucking watch it. It's an employee pick.
Watch it.
Of all employee picks. Like, if you're hesitant, it's worth your $15-$20. Like, go see it, and hopefully your crowd is cool.
Also, did you know YouTube also has it for $19.99?
Didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, I saw that shit. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's crazy. So get it anywhere. Go watch it.
That's
like
really interesting that I didn't know. I know they do that with some smaller releases you can buy for around $20.
Well, YouTube and Key and Peele have a pretty ridiculous relationship.
Well, shit, there you go, man. If you don't like, going to theaters, $20, that's well worth it, honestly, to get it this early. All right, just a handful of reviews after this because we did the podcast last week so late. I saw Cosmopolis.
You said we went through this the first time, and you fucking said you had it.
I know, dude. And I was reading something else as I was, trying to pronounce words.
Jesus.
Yeah, I can't chew gum and podcast at the same time. So,
which you shouldn't, by the way.
Yeah, I'm on a Cronenberg kick after watching Existence last week. This one stars Robert Pattinson. I think this is like his first movie after Twilight. He plays a billionaire, and the movie takes place in mostly his stretch limo because he's got to get a haircut. He's going through a city, which I believe is New York, that's going through all kinds of like social upheaval and protests. And it's a very dangerous climate, especially for, someone of his notoriety and wealth. So this one crams in a lot of ideas about capitalism and politics, like shit that I love, like catnip for me. And it's got all the quirkiness and goofiness of like David Cronenberg's movies that I love. It's a mixed bag for sure. It's and and it's not tough to follow, but it's like tonally kind of the shifts aren't as smooth as say something like Us. But I think it's worth watching. I'm not even gonna say take it or leave it. It's so unique, and the performance by Robert Pattinson especially, he's just like. He's still got some of the vampire feel from the Twilight movies because he doesn't seem completely human and connected to society. He's like definitely detached from reality. But yeah, it's a really interesting movie that you can find a lot of different places: Prime, Hoopla, Kanopy, and something unique that you should check out. It definitely doesn't have the typical beats of a 3-act movie. And Paul Giamatti shows up in a really cool role towards the end of the film.
Oh, it sounds like you're Team Edward.
Yeah, I'm team. I never need to see that movie again because when I worked at Blockbuster, they made us put it on that TV all day.
Really?
Yeah.
I never watched it.
Yeah, it's.
Huh.
But yeah, it's a good one, and I think you would definitely like it too because it's. I think you're more forgiving of a movie like I am if it's ambitious and just crams some really cool ideas than if it's just lazy and bad. Like.
Yeah, I think the two things that turned me off from watching this, and I didn't even look into it at all, was the title and then Pattinson.
You went to the movie theater, you're like, 2 tickets for Cosmopolis. Never mind, I'll just get
I got 2 tickets for Mopalopolin.
Just give me Scott Pilgrim tickets. Yeah. So, yeah, that's another employee pick from me.
Well, so I finally watched The Mule. Starring our buddy and old-time get-off-our-lawn Clint Eastwood, a 90-year-old horticulturist, which lightly as a horticulturist. He likes flowers, but that doesn't play that much into this movie. Kind of yes and no.
That's like his cover.
It's not even his cover. He just at some point talks about how much he loves flowers. But he talks a lot more. He does a lot of the same little light racist jokes at points that are a little bit more forgivable in this one than they were in Gran Torino, in the sense of he was more of a hateful bastard implying negativity, where it seemed like in this one he was more of like an out of touch old man that didn't know any better. So the story starts out where, by the way, I didn't finish that summary. He turns into a drug mule for the Mexican cartel. I feel like that's a really important part.
That's why they call it that. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like it's not about him taking care of a mule for 6 months to run a race and beat all the other mules, and it turned out to be Seabiscuit too. So anyways, it starts out with this guy, and he goes to his granddaughter's wedding, birth shower, something or other, some type of celebratory family event. And the rest of his family hates him, hates his fucking guts. His daughter sees him, fuck you, Dad. His wife sees him, what the fuck are you doing here, John? It's just he is hated by his entire family. The only one reaching out to him is the granddaughter who's getting married. So somebody at that wedding party comes up to me. He's like, hey, what's up, Pops? Hey, what's going on? Hey, so you you drive? Yeah, it looks like you got a lot of bumper stickers from other states. Yeah, he's like, yep, never been pulled over, nothing. And then the story develops. He's like, hey, if you ever need some money, call this number. So he goes on the first one. He pulls up. He goes in. They're like, hey, where do we cut this out? He's like, don't cut up my truck. Just put it in the back. And he's like, whoa, okay. Which was also a little bit more unbelievable to me. Who would just constantly throw a bunch of, at the time he does not know, but even as he moved forward, he continued to just put it in the back of his pickup.
Just throws it back there. Yeah.
Yeah. Like as it went from like 5 kilos to 20 kilos to 100 kilos or whatever. Just put it in the back. It's all good. It'll be fine. Like, come on, man. It's not going to be fine.
Did you feel like, so it was a little, you had to suspend your disbelief, but do you think it was accurate, like as far as the drug dealer? Did it seem like he did research on what the character he was trying to portray?
Yes, I feel like he did a very good job at portraying somebody that was desperate and in need, and also ignorant, and just wasn't up to date with what's happening in today's society. He just is trying to find ways to provide money to situations. And that was kind of the funny thing, is as other situations developed is why he continued to return to do it. It would be the first thing, hey, I'm going to pay half for her wedding. Hey, his VFW burnt down and wanted to help pay for that. So as situations developed, he kept going back for money, but still didn't know how to text. And there's a few of the guys that are pretty relaxed. The initial gentleman that he meets, and he meets the drug lord, and then the drug lord is overtaken by another guy who then creates a much more hostile environment. And it's just a guy that's out of touch with how ridiculous of a situation he's in, somewhat, but cares about his family first, and that's why he'll seem to do anything for them, although he was never there for them initially. So it's a good emotional story with a fun, thrilling tension-filled moments. I would say on the employee pick side of Clint Eastwood movies.
Okay. And then, some people, he is very political. If you disagree with his politics, you're not going to be affected by this story. Like, you can enjoy it.
Right. It doesn't take, there's a few color commentary, pun on words kind of intended moments. But all in all, I think you can enjoy this as just an interesting drama. So. Okay,
cool, man. I'm looking forward to it. Again, I've been hit or miss with that one, and I think I'm going to check it out based on your review.
Okay.
Real quickly, if you haven't
sold on one.
So, the 2001 Space Odyssey 4K movie was super expensive. I got it on sale. I was like, I'm going to get high at some point this year and rewatch this movie because it is something you should go back and check out every once in a while. I don't know how you felt when you were younger. I always dug this movie. I didn't fully understand it when I was young. Maybe just was into it for the visuals and the weirdness, but it's a great movie. I definitely love Stanley Kubrick's films, and it's something you should definitely check out if you're listening to a film podcast. It's possibly one of the greatest films of all time. It's in the conversation, and it's something you should really check out. And if you've seen it before, you should revisit it every once in a while because I think it's such a big picture swing at just humanity in general. It's I'll give you the plot summary in case you guys haven't heard of this one. It's after discovering a mysterious artifact buried beneath the lunar surface, mankind sets off on a quest to find its origins with help from an intelligent supercomputer, the HAL 9000. And even though it is 2019 and the movie supposedly, it was made in the 60s based off of a novel that was in the 50s or 60s, it still feels like things would go down this way. Even though some of the events, like we've already explored the moon and stuff, it just feels so real. It feels so just apparent, like this is how this is going to happen with AI. And it was so ahead of its time visually.
Boy, were they wrong.
Visually and just, coming to the terms with, the dangers of entrusting AI with our lives and things like that.
The future.
Yeah, and just a really cool fucking movie to stare at for 2 hours. So if you haven't seen it, give it a chance. I think you'll enjoy it. And if it's been a while, go back and revisit 2001: A Space Odyssey. You can rent it or buy it digitally.
It's a PSA. You heard it here first, or probably second or third. I don't know. Is that it? Are you done with
your turn, baby? Yeah, that was an employee pick.
Oh, okay. So see that
tell.
Usually. Okay, Look, sometimes you tee me up and sometimes you throw a curveball that I just don't understand and stand backwards.
Yeah, sometimes we have rhythm and sometimes we step on each other's toes. But
why do you have to outdo my terrible metaphors? Why? So, you know what I want to do to you, Frank?
Drag me across concrete?
Yes, I do. And that's what I watched, Dragged Across Concrete. Which is about two overzealous cops get suspended from the force. I love that they used the force instead of just being, there were cops that were suspended. They were suspended from the force, which I think plays very hardy into the script. But anyways, they delve into a criminal underworld to get their proper compensation, which is a light way of saying we got screwed and now we're going to go get ours. I think Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn kill this, and everyone in it is just it plays to that same. This is from that same director and writer that you love.
As Craig Zahler, yeah, he did. What's it called? A Brawl in Cell Block 99.
99, yeah.
and Bone Tomahawk. And again, he's another argument for gratuitous violence.
Did he do that Blue Ruin too?
No. That's someone else, yeah.
Okay. The gratuitous violence stays apparent and real and fucking little shocking at points, and you're like, whoa, calm down. You just turned it up to 15. I need you to bring it to an 8. Which is okay. Put me at that 15 and take me on that ride. The script is very well set in that feel of two detective cops make decisions that the upper management's not comfortable with. And the script plays to this metaphoric detective feel while still having these characters seem real and grounded. So there's these guys that they're following. He got basically a lead. He's like, might be a drug lord, something or other. He knows that they have this address. There's no mail that goes to it. There's nothing that happens with it. It just exists. And he asks Vince Vaughn to partake in this little mission to, rob these guys of whatever it is they have. And he struggles with that a little bit, finally comes along for the ride. And it's a fucked up one. It is well-spoken dialogue and quick-wit sentences with really great character placement in actors that I think drive the story really well. It's compelling. It's a little shocking, and it's a good watch. It's one that you're definitely going to love. I think better than that Cell Block 99 for sure. Just really well done. I don't know, all the way. Fucked up, but good.
Yeah, so tell me if these things were true about this movie, because the reason I liked S. Craig Zahler's first two movies, things that stood out to me in the first two movies were, one, the guy likes to crunch bones. Skulls, arms, he just like to crunch bones all day. Like
crunch them, shoot them off, blow them up. Yeah.
The other thing is he takes these actors that are well known, Kurt Russell, Vince Vaughn, Mel Gibson, that we know have darkness. We know have like sharp edges to them, but in their whole career, like other movies only kind of like played with that, teased it, and more recently maybe they've softened those, think like Daddy's Home and Fred Claus and shit, and he like brings that out, of these actors, their rough edges and the darkness in them, and just goes with it and plays it as, to their strength. And that's what I liked about his previous two movies.
Yeah, it was kind of fucked up what they did to some of our favorite people. Yeah. So the guy, remember how I thought that Malcolm McDowell was in this? No, that was Udo Kier.
I can see why you make that mistake.
Right, because, old, tan,
they get the same
sharp
haircut.
eyes.
They probably have the same barber.
And, yeah, so that was why that exists that way. But I just wanted to bring that up because I remember I was like, there's that motherfucker right there. And I'm like, oh, wait. Hold up. But it's gritty, it's dark, it makes you want to watch it.
Sweet. And this one's available for digital rental right now in a couple different places for around $7. So I think sounds like it's worth it. I'm going to pay $7 because I don't see it coming to any theater near me. So
do it.
Cool.
Do it.
So that was our very abridged review section. Usually twice.
That was our 5 fingers of review section.
Yeah, but we did ramble on enough to fill that space with about as
much
time.
That's what I do, Frank. I
ramble. We normally do. Let's wrap this podcast up with our final segment. WTWTW is what
TW
the cool kids call it. It's what to watch this week, and we're going to talk about what we find interesting that is releasing between March 25th and March 31st. Our year of Dennis Quaid 2019.
Because you can't think of anything better.
Yeah. I forgot his name. I forgot his name for a second.
Oh, that's just mean. You're banned. You're excommunicated from the Church of Quaid.
Over on the Netflix, March 29th, The Highwaymen comes out. It's about a pair of police officers that come out of retirement to catch the infamous outlaws Bonnie and Clyde, starring Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson.
Fuck yeah.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. Why? I love Woody Harrelson, but even Kevin Costner I have nostalgia for, and I can't really think of, besides Bull Durham, like what I loved him in. But it's just a really interesting pairing.
Remember The Guardian with Ashton Kutcher? I hated to say that was actually good because I thought it was going to be terrible.
Gotcha. So that one looks really cool. I'm going to be checking that
Field
out.
of Dreams.
You'll get at least one review out of us. And I suspect we'll both talk about it next podcast.
Okay, so what's the second one? What's the deal with this?
The Legend of Cocaine Island. I just want to put like the best documentary in there because this is what most people watch on Netflix is these true crime documentaries. A desperate man goes on a buried treasure hunt for $2 million worth of cocaine.
You feel like cocaine would go bad. Like, I'd rather search for gold.
I don't know the shelf life. I don't know if it is the Twinkie of narcotics, but
Can we have someone out there confirm the validity of shelf life of cocaine?
I'm sure in our audience there are some coke experts. So yeah, please, this would be a good time to bring up that we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, maybe Snapchat us.
Places where we'll read your shit.
Yeah, we want to know about the shelf life of cocaine. And the final thing coming on Netflix this week and this month, Trailer Park Boys, the animated series.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, give these Canadian dirtbags some credit. They have put out a lot of material. It is overwhelming. And the reason I don't know the last movie I've seen or last season I've seen of their show. I enjoyed it. But yeah, they just keep putting stuff out there. And that, what the fuck is the appropriate response?
Well, wait, aren't they doing this probably because one of them died, right?
Yeah, one of the characters did die. I believe is the guy who played the police officer that like ran the trailer park. Was he a police officer, security guard?
So you can...
Yeah, the older gentleman.
I don't 100% know, but I'm assuming that he comes back because they can animate him.
They can. So, yeah, I'm just morbidly curious about this one. I'm going to check it out.
Okay.
Over on the Amazon Prime, the Hannah Season 1. I've seen a lot of ads for this. I think it's based off that Hannah movie that Saoirse Ronan was a star of. And this is described as, I'm going to skip that part. Hannah follows the journey of an extraordinary young girl raised in the forest as she evades the relentless pursuit of an off-book CIA agent and tries to unearth the truth behind who she is. Looks interesting. I know Amazon Prime's throwing a lot of money.
In an equal parts high concept.
Yeah, I skipped that part.
Sorry.
Yeah. Stop trying to sell me on this shit. But I'm looking for something to binge. I might do this. My TV shows are winding down right now. The only TV shows I've been watching recently is Broad City and You're the Worst, and they're ending in a couple weeks. So I'm looking for something. This might be it. Looks decent.
Okay, fair enough.
Yep. Over on the Hulu, Monsters and Men comes out March 27th. This is about the aftermath of a police killing of a black man. Sounds familiar. It happens a lot. So there's going to be a lot of movies commenting on it because it's a situation that needs to stop. Anyways, it's told through the eyes of a bystander who filmed the act, an African-American police officer, and a high school baseball phenom. So 3 different people, if you're counting, telling that story, who the high school baseball phenom was inspired to take a stand. Sorry. So this is a very gut-wrenching drama, but something I know you don't shy away from.
Yeah, no, I will still check out anything that seems like it's telling a real story with compelling arguments and maybe develops my further understanding a little bit.
Hey, Josh, do you remember Kate Bosworth?
Hey, do you remember that I saw this actually? Boom.
Okay, well, The Domestics is out March 29th on Hulu and in Amazon Prime, and it takes place in the weeks following an apocalyptic event.
Apocalyptic.
I need more water. I don't have a producer over here to help me.
A lollipopalyptic.
Yeah. A husband and wife venture across the countryside inhabited by deadly factions in search of safety and must work together as they are pushed to the breaking point in order to survive. So did you like this?
It was a one-time watch that was visually, they go really far on the pushing, like motherfuckers were on acid trying to probably shoot this thing on tape. But I felt like it's the husband and wife role of them were compelling as they thwart all of these ridiculous fucked up situations. So an interesting, weird watch, kind of more on that psychedelic. If you ever did you watch Mom and Dad or whatever that was with Nicolas Cage? Mm-hmm. Okay, so kind of like that kind of stuff. Also similar to that Assassination Nation, where they kind of throw a lot of visual at you, and it worked okay.
Like hyper violent.
A lot of bright shit happening in your face.
Okay.
That's what, at least as far as my memory, has been.
I like some of them.
Since I've seen this.
Yeah, I like them. I like Mayhem. I like Assassination Nation. Didn't really care for Mom and Dad. I know that one's like super hyped.
I kind of thought it was okay. I don't know. It was all right. And I like Selma Blair.
I need more than just Nicolas Cage freaking out in his basement by his pool table.
They did. They gave you Selma Blair.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Over on HBO Go, we have the debut on March 31st of two of the shows I really enjoy on HBO.
The debut.
Yeah, Barry Season 2. If you're not aware of this show, it's about a hitman from the Midwest who moves to LA and gets caught up in the city's theater art scene. Have you seen this show? I know we weren't podcasting when the first season came out.
No, but it's something probably kind of on the list. This is with our Saturday Night Live buddy, right?
It's so fucking good. Yeah, it's with Bill Hader stars as Barry, and the Fonz is Henry Winkler is fantastic in this. It really like writes itself into a corner, and like the way it decides to get out of these situations is fantastic. Like especially just try to binge it real quick. I know you'll dig this, dude. It just takes the hard road with every character, with each episode, the plot, and just like, all right, how the fuck do we fix this? And the way the cliffhanger they ended season 1 with has had me like chomping at the bit for season 2. So highly recommended. Check that out. It's just dark, funny, fucked up, and really has me seeing Bill Hader in a new light.
Well, I don't know. You got a new light for the hater.
I do. VEEP's 7th and final season also comes out on March 31st. This is about former Senator Selena Myers, played by Julie Louis-Dreyfus, finds that being vice president of the U.S. is nothing like she hoped for and everything that everyone ever warned her about. Do you like that? Have you seen this show?
No, that was. I haven't actually.
Okay. It's not like the cringeworthy type of humor of The Office, but it's like a workplace, snarky.
It's like Spin City. You remember that shit? With Charlie Sheen did the first shit, and then Michael J. Fox did the first shit.
Yeah, I mean they take this political landscape and make it a workplace comedy, but it's funny because it just kind of highlights the stupidity of a lot of these people, and it feels very real. And Julie Louis-Dreyfus fucking crushes in this show, and there's a lot of great supporting characters.
I got one question.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you prefer to have these people in the White House now?
Yeah.
Than what we currently have? Like, would you be like, these people are probably more competent?
Yeah.
I'm just nice.
You could probably say about any movie, any cast that we've talked about today.
Yeah, we would look at like Dragged Across Concrete. You know what? Mel Gibson would do great in there.
If the animated Trailer Park Boys were in the White House right now, I'd be okay with it.
Fuck yeah. Woo.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, it's a good show that I think is ending at a good time on top. Over on VOD rental for people that don't just watch things the streaming services provide for them. My favorite movie of last year, If Beale Street Could Talk, about a woman in Harlem who embraces her pregnancy while she and her family struggle to prove her fiance's innocence of a crime, is by Barry Jenkins, who also did Moonlight. It's a fucking great movie.
The Jinx.
Just I thought the best filmmaking and a true standout last year, and you can watch it for $5 now, so you should probably do that.
Okay.
Something we don't normally do is talk about regular old TV, Josh. But there's a TV show.
You tend to not.
Yeah, I edit it out. Josh talks about Goldbergs every episode, and I just cut it out. Goldbergs be Goldbergin. But What We Do in the Shadows, which is based off of the Taika Waititi movie of the same title, is now an FX show, and it comes out March 27th. It's a look into the daily, or rather nightly, lives of 4 vampires who've lived together for over 100 years in Staten Island. I'm just curious, man. I love the movie. If they can replicate the unique sense of humor that movie had, then they could really have a cool show. And the only place I think it could work is on FXX.
Okay. What about FX?
No, I think FX got the movies, and then like the comedy. Like I think like It's Always Sunny, You're the Worst. That's FXX.
Oh, the more you know today, because that's less than I knew yesterday.
Yeah, I got one of those remotes I can talk into now, so I don't know what channel anything's on.
Remote, do what I want.
Pretty much. Now in theaters, if you like to enjoy movies with the backdrop of people unable to open their snow caps or falling on top of dogs, we got 2 suggestions for you. Dumbo the latest live-action Disney movie about a young, impressionable elephant whose oversized ears enable him to fly and help save a struggling circus. But the circus plans a new venture, and Dumbo and his friends discover the dark secrets behind the circus' shiny veneer.
I thought you were going to say shitty veneer.
Shitty veneer. It's a Tim Burton movie that I'm actually interested to see. There's something about that trailer that gets me every time. I don't.
Now it does. I feel like we did a teaser on this, and we were like, "Fuck this movie."
We probably were, because like on face value, I just hate what Disney's doing. It's such a Disney move.
Well, I don't know if you knew this, Frank, but this is actually the story of my life.
Dumbo?
Yeah, no, I had giant ears. I saved a circus. I flew. It was a whole thing.
So you peaked at 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of got that from you.
Right.
Yeah,
that's fair. Just wanted you to know. Now I shared that part of my life with you.
I definitely knew you were a carny. Like I could sense it. But yeah, man, I like this. You got Danny DeVito, Colin Farrell, Michael Keaton, and it just has a cool look to it.
Yeah, how dare you put people I like in this fucking movie?
Yeah, we're conflicted, but I'm probably going to see Dumbo, my man. So
you're going to go like pay in the theaters and fucking watch it?
I got a subscription, son. I don't pay for tickets.
Oh God, you goddamn whore.
Yeah. Also in theaters, which I'm definitely going to see, is The Beach Bum, about a rebellious stoner named Moondog who lives life by his own rules.
This is okay. You're allowed to see this.
Yeah, this starring Matthew McConaughey. We are both big fans of his. Directed by the gentleman who did Spring Breakers? Yeah. Harmony Korine. Usually style over substance in his movies. He also did Gummo. He wrote Kids. This movie just strikes a nerve. It's probably dumb, but it looks weird and interesting, and I laughed during the trailer, so I'm going to check it out.
You know, it seems great, and it seems like it's just Matt McConaughey doing his own thing and having a great time. And it seems like it also may have some heartfelt moments, so I could be down.
Yeah, I'm definitely down. So that is it for the podcast. Josh, do you know if there's anything you're going to see next week that you want to talk about?
Well, Frank, I did see something pop up that I am now I got to watch this. It's called Paul Parazzi. It's about a dog.
You're dropping Paul Parazzi on me right now, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm going to watch this. I just saw the trailer for it, and I'm just like, this is so terrible. It's going to be amazing. About an actress with this dog, and the dog, I guess, is voiced by, like, Christy Swanson, and it's, like, I don't even know why they call it paparazzi beyond that they're, like, the dog's, like, as fancy, and the dog's name is Latte, and then they get the dog a latte, and then it goes off to the farm with the actress lady for I don't know what reason, and it learns how to live rough and that kind of shit and still be a fancy little dog. I think it's going to be well worth the watch.
Are you watching trailers as you're podcasting with me?
No. I saw this trailer before we got on this thing, and I'm like, I need to watch this. It's a real thing.
Okay. Bless your soul for checking out Paul Parazzi.
Look, sometimes we got to do what we got to do, and I feel like this is the perfect bad movie to watch.
Okay. Fair enough, man. So I don't have anything as exciting.
See? You have nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, you're probably right, bro.
Okay.
Anyways, I will watch probably half the things we discussed on What to Watch this week. Paul Parazzi will not be one of them.
That's fucked up, man.
That's it for our show. We love you for listening. Please tell your friends, subscribe, turn it up when you're at a red light, and wait for people to ask you what the fuck you're listening to. Tell them. It was the video store.
The end.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.